Welcome to South Asia in Maps, Icons and Images. This is J. Reddy and your facilitator for this educational channel. At South Asia in Maps, I try to bring a deeper knowledge of Indian history, geography, culture in a very deeper perspective in the form of icons, images and maps. And please encourage our channel. And we are continuing our fascinating journey in the land of five Ops, Panjal and Punjab. And previous topics on Punjab geography, I covered 57 districts of Punjab. You should be aware in order to understand Punjab to certain extent. And then various regions of Punjab like Himachal regions, Kulu Valley, Kangra Valley, Haryana regions, Kurukshetra Plains and Hisar Plains, and Punjab, that is Doba and Upper Bari Doab Maza, and Pawad Plains and Malba. In the western Punjab, we talked about Thal region and Sindsagar Doab, and Derawat region, Potohar, Plateau, Assault Range, Murray Hills or Margara Hills, and Cholistan, Bahawalpur area, and those topics. And then we covered certain rivers of Punjab, like Sutlej River, which is around about 1200 kilometers, and Bias River from Rohtang Pass to Harike Patan last time. And today, in this presentation, we'll be looking at a broader picture of River Ravi, the great fascinating river we'll talk about today as a part of our continuation of Punjab geography, River Ravi. And after this presentation, you will get a clear idea of what Ravi River, here I indicated in red, this is the starting point, this is the mouth, this is the source. Its names Purushni, Iravati River, what is Bara Bhangal, what is Brahmaur in the Chamba and Kangra regions of Himachal Pradesh, Pir Panjal Mountains, PP, Dhauladhar range, Dhauladhar Mountains, how the river is hemmed by them. Then the Chamba district at Madhopur near Jammu Kashmir border, the river takes a southern part and travels around about 80 kilometers, forming what is called separation line or Radcliffe line. River Ravi means it starts with R, also starts with Radcliffe. That is very critical. We talk about the historical, the importance of that. Separating, we talk about the Gurdaspur district and Shekhargarh Tehsil, and this is very important. A lot of people doesn't understand what it means, and we'll explore in depth. And historic Lahore city in the plains of Punjab, the historic capital, and also the capital of the Sheri Punjab. Maharaja Ranjit Singh lived there nearly for 40 years or so, and his last remains also in that city. And finally, the river Ravi has its mouth, its termination point at a place called Ahmadpur Sial, or also called Sarai Sidhu. It joins Chenab river. That means the river Ravi is a tributary of Chenab. Chenab is around about 1200 kilometers, much bigger, whereas Ravi is only around about 720 or so. The Chenab and Sutlej join together at Ahmad Alipur, forming the Panjal further down. And we'll talk about what the river separates, what districts. The right bank, that means the northern portions of the district, Sialkot, Gujranwala, Layalpur, part of Jeng, and its left bank or eastern part or southern part, Gurdaspur, Amritsar, Lahore, and Montgomery and Multan. Excuse me. And we'll also discuss about the historical significance of Ravi River, a Radcliffe Award, and the concept of Darul-Harb, Dar-ul-Islam, and Kafirs living in this area, Mu'mins, believers living area, and this is they called Illam area, the lighter. This called Kafiri Jahili area, dark period. Eternal war, the Islamic theology declares, and they fought for it and finally got the partition through Islamic violence in 1947. So Darul Harb, Dar-ul-Islam and River Ravi forms the symbolic border between these two regions. So that part we'll discuss, and then is the Cyril Radcliffe, the judge who gave this award of partition of Bara, that is partition of Punjab, East Punjab and East Punjab. Excuse me. To start with, and River Ravi is 720 kilometers river. It's also called in the ancient times Purushni river or Iravati river. This is the Himachal Pradesh. There is a place called Brahmaur near Bara Bhangal range. This is the Bara Bhangal. There is a Dhauladhar here. There is a Panjal on this side. There is a Panjal. There is a Dhauladhar. A place called Bara Bhangal. It originates in Bara Bhangal near Brahmaur. It goes on the western side and it is hemmed here by Dhauladhar mountains, and the north side it is hemmed by Panjal. So this is a sheltered valley, it cannot go anywhere further, so it takes a southern turn at Madhopur. So it is hemmed by Panjal on the north. So the Panjal here and Greater Himalayan mountains here. So Greater Himalayan mountains and Panjal hem Chandra river, Baga river, Chenab river. So Chenab river continues and Panjal continues, and Chenab cuts to the Panjal and goes. That is the other part we'll talk about. So Ravi river is hemmed northern side Panjal mountains, which are the principal mountains in Kashmir. They form the western side of the Kashmir valley. The eastern side is Himadri mountains or Greater Himalayan mountains, Panjal. And it goes to the town called Chamba, and that is also formerly a princely state of Chamba, and the Chamba town overlooks the river Ravi, and it takes a southern bend, and at Madhopur the river enters into Punjab Plains. Madhopur is few kilometers north of Pathankot railway station, and crossing from Pathankot to Madhopur means crossing the river Ravi is entering into Maharaja, the Dogra's territory. At the time, partition time, Maharaja Singh Dogra was the ruler. So entering from Pathankot to Madhopur means you are entering into Dogra territory or Maharaja's territory or princely state of Jammu and Kashmir. Madhopur for 80 kilometers, this forms the border between Bharat and Pakistan, and it continues journey, and the historic city of Lahore resides here, and it continues its journey, and finally at a place called Ahmadpur Sial. This is the Chenab river. At Ahmadpur Sial or Sarai Sidhu, the river Ravi joins river Chenab, and it continues to be a part of Chenab. Chenab continues few more kilometers and joins Sutlej river at a place called Alipur or Uch Sharif. That means that is the starting point of Panjal river for around about 70 kilometers or so. Panjal river continues the journey and joins river Sindhu or Indus river at Kot Maithan or Pathankot or Pathankot. So that is, the source is Brahmaur, near a town called Brahmaur, near Bara Bhangal range, and the river is hemmed on the southern side by Dhauladhar range, northern side by Panjal. And what are the historic British districts which are separated by the river? So as you travel from Bara, Bhangal to Ahmadpur, Sial. This is called right hand bank. You see here, this is the right hand bank. This is the left bank. On the right bank, you see this is called Sekargar Tehsil of Gurudashpur. It separates. That's very important. We'll come to that in the next presentation. Sekargar Tehsil, Sialkot district, the Sialkot, Pasrur and Jafarwal and all those areas. Sialkot district, then Gujranwala district on the right hand bank, right hand side of the river, the city, the district of Sukarchekia Misal, where Maharaja Ranjit Singh came from. Then Faisalabad district, Canal Colony district, Lalpur district, the Toba Tek Singh, Samundri, and so on. Then a certain part of Jang district like Sharkot. So on the right hand bank, river Ravi separates Shakargarh, Tehsil, Sialkot district, Gujranwala district. Sometimes we see Gujranwala Nankana Sahib here later, and Lalpur district and Sharkot region of the Jang district. On the eastern side or the left bank of the river, you see Gurdashpur district. That means Pathankot, Gurdashpur, and Dinanagar and Khodian and Batala and so on. And Amritsar district, Ajnala, Amritsar and Taran, and Lahore district like Lahore, Chunian and Raiwind and Kasur and so on. Then the entire Montgomery district like Pakpatan, Vihari and Wakara and Shahiwal and so on. Then Multan district forms the one border. This is Ahmadpur, Sial. Then we talk about what is the historic significance of this river. River Ravi is a very important river because on this bank of the river there is a Lahore city. Lahore city was headquarters and a central place of spread of Islam since Islamic invaders started invading India and destroying the local civilization. From the Ghaznavid times, then Ghurid times, Lahore was the frontier empire of Dar-ul-Islam, and finally the Ghur defeated and Maharaja Prithvi Chauhan in Kurukshetra Plains in 1192. From that day onwards until the collapse of Mughal Empire and rise of first Marathas for few months, then finally 6, and this part was the core of Islam. The Muslims ruled it and governed it. So Lahore city and Ravi forms a very important part. During 1947, the Muslims said they cannot live with the Kafirs anymore, even though their Punjabi brothers, Sikhs and Hindus, they said they want to live with the Bengali Muslims who are thousands of kilometers east and the rest of the Muslims in India. The fascination of Islam made them to fight very violently in the street riots, Naukali riots, Tippera riots, Rawalpindi riots, Kohat riots, and so on. Finally, Congress pusillanimous leadership gave in and agreed for partition. A British judge called Cyril Radcliffe was brought and he gave the award. That award is called Radcliffe Line. And why we are talking about this is there is a symbolic issue between the Radcliffe and Ravi. When the partition plan started, the Ravi River formed few kilometers, around about 80 kilometers or so border between Amritsar district, Gurdaspur district this side, and Sialkot district and Gujranwala district that side. So in the historic respect, Radcliffe Line is identified with Ravi River. Even though Bahawal, the settlers also forms the same, but at that time there was a princely state. It was not partitioned. The Nawab of Bahawalpur decided to join Pakistan because he is a Mussalman, and also population was overwhelmingly Mussalmans, and there are less number of Kafirs live there. So that is generally not considered. So symbolically, Ravi River is considered a partition line, even though around about 80 kilometers or so are Radcliffe award line. So east of Radcliffe means Darul Harb. Jahili territory, what Islam considers, or Islamic theology, the delusional belief system Islam encourages. Ignorant area are populated by Kafirs, and they have to wage a permanent war called jihad until Darul Harb is conquered and Jahiliya is overthrown and Kafirs are defeated, killed, or converted into Mu'mins, believers. Then it becomes a Illam, lighted area, and Dar-ul-Islam, the Islamic territory, compared to Darul Harb, enemy's territory or Kafir's territory. River Ravi symbolically forms the dividing like that. East of Ravi is Kafiri territory, west of Ravi is Islamic territory or Radcliffe award. So that is about the Ravi River, and we see the topographic map so that you will get a more clarity about here. Where are we in this area? See, we are here somewhere Pathankot. If you start your context Pathankot and you see the white Dhauladhar ranges. Remember, I told Ravi River starts near Brahmaur, a place called Brahmour. This is the Bhangal. This is the Bhangal region. This is the Bhangal region. This is the Brahmaur, and it is on this side hemmed by the Dhauladhar range. Other side, this is the Panjal range, and the river goes through Brahmaur and Chamba, and Chamba town. It takes a southern part. Here somewhere Madhopur will be there. Pathankot here. For 80 kilometers or so, the river forms the boundary. The river, we look at this, the river forms the boundary between Gurdaspur, Amritsar district on one side, Shakargarh, Tehsil, Narowal, that is the Lahore region. This is the Lahore and Shadara regions. The river continues its journey in the Lahore and continues like that. You can see Nankana Sahib, this is the river that continues, and river continues here. This is the Chenab river, and it joins Chenab at a place called Ahmadpur Sial. You see Ahmadpur Sial, Chenab river, Ahmadpur Sial, and the northern part of the river Ravi, you see Shakargarh Tehsil was a part of Gurdaspur, and southern part you see Amritsar district and Gurdaspur district, then Lahore and Kasur, and we see Wakhara here. So this is the Ravi river continues, and you can see Faisalabad in the north, Samundri, Topa, Singh, and finally Ahmadpur Sial, you see. So that is, when you look at the map here and the Google map and this map we looked at, this map we looked at, and that is in a sense about Ravi River. So what we discussed today about Ravi River, the historic Ravi River and Radcliffe line, the Ravi River is a tributary of Chenab. That's very important. Tributary of Chenab. It is 720 kilometers long. Its source near Brahmaur, a place called Bara, Bhangal. Southern side Dhauladhar range, and northern side Panjal. The river is hemmed by these two. Skids through the town of Chamba, and near Madhopur is enters into Punjab Plains. Madhopur is a symbolic place where from Pathankot we cross into Maharaja Hari Singh's territory during 1940s before partition independence. For 80 kilometers the river forms the border, symbolic border between Gurdaspur and Amritsar on the south, Sialkot and Shakargarh on the north. That is a Radcliffe award, or east and west of Ravi River. This is Dar-ul-Islam, Kafiri, Mu'min's territory, believers' territory, that is Musalman's territory. This is the Kafiri territory, and Darul Harb. and the Jihad and Ghazwa got them this award through Radcliffe line 1947 partition independence time. North of the river, this is Shakargarh, Sialkot, Gujranwala district, Shekhpura and Nankana Sahib here, Layalpur or Faisalabad, Samundri and Toba taking Sharkot of Jang district. On the left bank, it has rest of the Gurdaspur district, Pathankot and Gurdaspur and Batala, Ajnala, Amritsar, Taran, Lahore, Kasur and Raiwind and entire Montgomery district or Shahiwal district, that is Wakara, Vehari, Pakpatan and Shahiwal and so on. Then Multan area and Kaneval and here Lodran. So that is about the Ravi River and its symbolic representation of the border between Dar-ul-Harb and Dar-ul-Islam and Cyril Radcliffe Award. Whenever you hear Ravi, you should always remember Radcliffe Award. R starts with Ravi, R starts with Radcliffe Award. The partition line between Dar-ul-Harb on the east, Dar-ul-Harb on the west. That's what we discussed today about the historic Ravi River, that on its banks the beautiful city of Lahore, the terminal place of Maharaja Ranjit Singh resides, and his samadhi is in that, and also Pakistan declaration, monuments and all those historical places, and Jahangir's tomb and Nur Jahan's tomb and Nur Jahan's brother Asif Khan's tomb, all the reside in around historic Lahore city, and that is on the bank of river Ravi. That's what we discussed today about Ravi, 720 kilometers long river from Brahmaur near Bara, Bhangal, between Dhauladhar range and Panjal to its mouth, termination point at Ahmadpur, Sial, as a tributary of Chenab river. We further continue our journey in Punjab geography further. Thank you very much for encouraging, subscribing, commenting on our channel South Asia in Maps. This is your facilitator J Reddy, and we'll see you the later.